Hey guys, my name is Shock EMP, and I'm here to talk to you about malware and the different types of it. Now, what is malware? Well, many of you probably know it by the name viruses, although the term viruses is not the correct term to use for all of them. No, a malware comes from the words malicious software. And that's exactly what it is. It's any type of software or code designed to do something to your computer that is malicious in intent and something that you do not want to happen to your computer. Now, you probably thought that's what viruses are, but you're wrong. In nature, a virus is essentially a dead but not dead cell that whenever attached to the proper host, for instance a human skin cell, it will use the processes happening inside of that cell to replicate itself and spread. The computer virus is almost exactly the same. Essentially, it's a little bit of code that if it infects a file like an executable file, so the stuff that all your programs run off of if you have a Windows device, then it will infect that. And whenever you start that executable file, then the virus will start replicating itself, sending itself over to other executables and any type of program on your computer. Now, how does it spread to other computers? Well, maybe you put in a flash drive, and maybe you have a Word document on that flash drive. Well, there are certain types of programs that run with Word documents, so if you decide to make a Mac, to make some sort of program to automatically update your Windows date on your paper, then what most likely will happen is that virus can actually infect that. So when you take the flash drive out and go to your school and plug it in, then it will infect everything in that computer, spread through all the computers and through all the phones in that school, and then when they go home it'll spread to their stuff, essentially infecting hundreds, thousands, maybe even millions of viruses. And it is the most simple one, but because of that it can be the most effective. Now, the next one that I am going to talk about. Anyone ever heard of the Trojan horse? Well, in case you haven't, I'm going to refresh your memory. Essentially, back in a long time ago, during the times of ancient Greece, there was a city called Troy, which was nearly impossible. No, it was impossible to break through. So, the geniuses behind this plan thought, hey, let's pretend to give up. What we are going to do is we are going to make a gigantic gift, a gigantic statue, and put it in front of their gate, so that in the morning when they go out there, they'll see the statue and assume that we have given up and left a present to appease them. So, what happens is they take in the Trojan horse. It looks like an awesome statue. It looks like something that will make their city have more grandeur. But the real genius in this is that inside of that statue, there are invaders. So, when night falls, the invaders come out and kill everyone in the city, and boom, they took over Troy. So, the computer program, a Trojan horse, is very similar, but instead, it's a program. So you get on the thing and you look up, let's say a program for watching videos. Maybe you accidentally uninstalled Windows Media Player. I don't know. Anyways, you download this and, well, it does exactly what it says it will, and more. So yes, you can watch videos on it, but at the same time, there is a backdoor or an opening that you specifically clicked yes on. Yeah, when it asked for administrative privileges, it was essentially asking for the privilege for anyone to connect to that if they have access to that Trojan horse. So, it looks like an innocent program, but in the end, it is a piece of malware. It could do something bad to your computer, or it could just give someone access to your computer. You never know. Maybe the person who had it doesn't have any access to it, but obviously it's not a good thing to have on your computer. Now, something that's very prevalent recently, ransomware. This is essentially exactly what it says it is. To hold someone for ransom is to kidnap them or take control of them so that no one else can have them, So in this case, it would be hijacking a computer and making it unusable, and then asking for a money reward for giving that person, in this case computer, back. So it asks for some sort of money order in order for you to get access to your computer. Now some of you are probably thinking, okay, why don't you just reinstall Windows or whatever you're running? Well, you might have some really important files on your hard drive. Okay, why don't you take the hard drive out and plug it into another computer? That's not how it works. Ransomware encrypts all of your files, making it nearly impossible to get them back, unless that ransomware decrypts it for you. And some of them don't even decrypt it once you get the money. They just ask for more. But obviously, people end up paying if they think it's important enough. And the threats that they will delete all your stuff if you call the police obviously make it so that people generally just don't call the police, and in the end don't get any help. Now, next one, and the last one, computer worms. They are one of the most effective types of malware out there simply because of how they work. Now, the definition of a computer worm is a type of malware that spreads itself by copying itself and sending it out to security holes in your network. Now, a lot of people confuse this with viruses because they both replicate themselves, but the difference is a computer worm does not need a host like a virus does, and can spread itself to other computers, and that is essentially its only goal. Now, how effective is this? Well, first of all, you have to note that these computer worms can contain packages that can have other types of malware. So while they're spreading to computer after computer after computer, replicating themselves thousands of times a second, they're also unloading packages of viruses, ransomware, Trojan horses, and all sorts of other horrible things for your computer. Maybe even spyware, which is a type of malware that spies on you and sends information to someone else. So, what's a good example of this type of information? Well, here's a good one. The I love you worm. Now, it sounds kind of ridiculous, but essentially what it was an automated email service that would send you an email saying I love you, and then using a bunch of malicious code would take all the contacts in your thing, and at the time almost everyone used Outlook, so it would take control of that program and then send an email of identical ability to every single other one of these things. And then there was a little pic. Well, at least you thought it was a picture, but you clicked on it and it opened a picture of some Asian woman, I believe. But essentially what this did was it had a Trojan horse inside of it, and it would take control of your computer. Now, the simple fact that it spread itself so fast could shut down servers with overloads of sending requests. Also, it destroyed the computers, and this ended up leaving a trail of $5.2 billion in damage, and this was only the beginning. Although this worm was stopped with updated security for email services, there have been many other worms, one of them called the Code Red worm. Now, this worm spread itself to websites, taking control of SQL servers, or just servers in general on the internet, the biggest network in the world, and it would just go through and destroy sites, defacing them, maybe putting funny stuff on them, maybe putting a weird video up on them, just completely destroying this. And I don't know how much damage this cost, but imagine this. It took about 3 months to take down, but it left behind a trail of websites destroyed, counting over 349,000 websites essentially destroyed, wiped, defaced, and made completely unusable to the owner. And that is why these things, these viruses, these malware are so important to know your way about. If you have any questions, then just drop a comment. I might respond, explaining to you what you don't understand, and if I find it especially interesting, I will actually make a new video explaining it explicitly. Now, this weekend, or maybe next weekend, it depends, I will try on either Friday or Saturday to release a video and this will be essentially a news thing. I will be talking about the latest tech news, products released, things like that, and hacking news. So like if a big firm got hacked, about that. This will inform you about the latest things you need to know, the most important, and if you're in risk of something taking you over, like for instance malware. Anyways, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and this is Shock EMP signing off.